Guys, welcome to my home, and congratulations for clicking the button to figure out what this is all about. Now, if you're sitting there, I'm assuming you're there for one of two reasons. Number one, you're a salesperson that their sales isn't where they want to be. Their income's not where they want to be. You want more, maybe even double, maybe even triple. Or two, you're a sales manager or business owner and just can't figure out how to get your salespeople to do the things they need to do to be successful. Well, I've been in both of those places. Well, all three of those places. I started off in retail. It was a non-commission job. This was a long time ago. This was 1999, making $12 an hour, trying my best to get promoted, blowing every sales record out of the way. And I did that because I started off early on. When I was 12 and 13 years old, my mom had me listening to Tony Robbins, reading Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Tom Hopkins, Joe Girard, you name it, I was studying them. And it was funny because I got so frustrated in that retail career, I decided to go into commission sales. And I still remember the man who hired me. I still remember him to this day. We sat down and I said all the right things and I talked about all the right things and all the strategies and techniques that I'd learned over my career. And for some reason, he said, "You're hired." I looked him in the face and I still don't know why to this day. I asked, but I go, "Why are you hiring me?" And he looks at me square in the face and he goes, "Because you're full of shit. And every good salesman needs to be full of it. A little bit." And he walked out of the room and he left it at that. I wouldn't figure out what he meant by that for years, but what he did was change my life, taking all those things that I thought I knew and putting them into practical application. When I got into commission sales, I didn't get into it because I wanted to. I was actually kind of forced into it. I was going through college, and on my senior year, my degree was removed. The dean of the department said, "That's no longer going to be a degree. It'll take you 2 more years to complete your degree." I was watching my friends graduate, and they were making $32,000 to $45,000 to $50,000, and I realized that's not where I wanted to be. That's why I made the transition from retail, trying to be a manager, going through college, having my degree revoked, and I jumped into commission sales. I've done everything from retail commission to over the phone, talking to shipping managers, selling software, car sales, advertising, services, you name it. And over that time frame, I've sold over $20 million personally in goods and services. However, I didn't start there. I started off with that gentleman that hired me. And it was funny because when he hired me, I hit the sales floor. I didn't think that I thought I knew everything. I didn't think that there was a thing wrong with me. That wasn't the case. I put up about $42,000 my first year in commission sales. That was my earnings, and that was completely unacceptable. So I went to him and I started going and getting coaching and developing and started attending seminars, and that 42 became 62, and that 62 became 82. And after a couple of years, I broke $100,000 selling TVs, appliances, furnitures, and mattresses. I was selling retail, making 6 figures. That didn't happen overnight. And the worst part about it is I would learn something new and I would apply it. I would learn something new and I would apply it. And I had this yo-yo effect where as I would go up and I'd hit my $80,000, the next couple months I would drop down. And I had this effect where I just went back and forth, trying to learn all these new techniques. And then I became a trainer. And I took all that knowledge that got me into a 6-figure salesperson, and I was like, I'm going to teach the people this because it's what they want to know. And some of the people were that way, but most of them weren't. And what I found was that most of the salespeople that I were teaching came to do a job, and they didn't want to go out there and they spend time bettering themselves. And I had to create processes and systems to turn these average employees into top earners. Because as a sales manager, as a general manager, I bonused based upon how my people did. And we always talk about learning how to lead people, right? Going out there and becoming a leader, leading your people and not managing them. There's only so much inspiration you can do if you don't have the right people in place. And that's part of being a leader, is getting the right people. And that was something that I wasn't good at. I wasn't good at giving up on people and letting them go. I believe that any single person could become an A player if they were given the right training. And I was wrong. It wasn't training, it was accountability, it was real leadership, it was true management. But what happened was, I spent the next 10 years developing systems and processes that when applied to even the worst sales associate, they would be in the top 5%. Whether it's in sales or earnings, they would maximize their paychecks by knowing how to get paid, because those were the metrics that I got bonused on. And what was funny was, when someone was about to be fired, I asked for them. I wanted them. I wanted the bottom performers. It wasn't until I met 2 young men that changed my entire view on this. And this is really what changed my life personally. I had been taking people that didn't necessarily want to be successful and actually make them highly successful. I'm talking top 5 to top 1% earners. These people were the best compared to everyone else, ranking in that top 10 out of over 150 sales associates on a regular basis, just by doing the things that I showed them how to do. Then I met 2 gentlemen, and they came to me and asked me to coach them. And I said, okay, these will be my first students, and I coached them. And they didn't just become the best, they doubled the next closest person to them, and then tripled. In their situations that they were in their environments, in their industries, and in their divisions, the next person that had the same opportunities they didn't just beat them by a little bit. They were no longer comparing themselves to that person. They were actually performing well above. And that changed my entire perspective. And then I had the opportunity to actually become a trainer for Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's KBB program. And I got to work with people that truly wanted to better their lives. And what I realized is when someone wants to better their lives and they want to become better than they are today, not comparing themselves to everyone else around them, but they want to maximize their pay, maximize their experience, maximize their life, and overall have more enjoyment, that's the person that I want to work with the coaching that I'm going to give you, the tools and skills that I'm going to give you. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine. He did come all the way down here despite our lighting issues that we're having, as well as he has been sick as a dog, but he said he had to get it done because if he can make a difference in someone's life, he wanted to participate. So guys, without further ado.
So my name is Zachary, and I've been in Colorado my whole life. I've been in retail for probably 7 years now, somewhere around there. And with a company I was working for, I was really struggling with sales and meeting my numbers and meeting the KPIs and actually making income and actually succeeding. I was struggling with all those things in the first couple months, 2 to 3 months of my employment, and I was searching for someone or something to help me achieve my goals and actually get there and succeed and make money. Then I met Richard, and he helped me go through his process and his strategies and his plan and what I needed to do to be successful. There was I just couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And when I met Richard, he made me take a step back and reevaluate everything. I was ready to quit. And I think I told him, I have my 2 weeks notice ready, I have my resignation ready, and I'm pretty sure I'm done. So I don't think there's money to be made in this company. And he said, no, let's step back and reevaluate. So we did that. We looked at how can you make money in this company. Obviously there's people doing it, there's people that have been here for years, so let's look at what you're doing, dissect it a little bit, and see what we can do. And so that's what we did. And we looked at my strengths, my weaknesses. I worked with him and he coached me on how I can talk better and how I can communicate with customers and what I can do to get my book of business built instead of just taking the next customer to walk through the door. So there was a lot of things, a lot of different aspects, and they were small things, but they built up into this foundation that I could use to build on and actually succeed and make more money and more income. So, before the training, again, like I was saying, I felt like I was the only one holding myself accountable. After the training, I felt like he put plans and strategies in place for me and helped me put those in place to hold myself accountable, but also what steps I can take and what I can do to have other people hold me accountable. Do it. It's funny because before I met Richard and before we started working together, I thought that, not that I knew everything, I did have an open mind, but I thought that you just couldn't make money. When I was struggling in sales, I just didn't think that, I just didn't think you could make money. And I didn't realize that it was the things that I was doing and the things that I really didn't know how to do that was causing me not to succeed. But by meeting Richard and him kind of coaching me on some things, I realized that there's a lot that I didn't know, and there's a lot that I could be taught. And he helped me with, again, laying the foundation and all these things, and I just feel like it's definitely worth it. And if, when I look at like my income from when I started, where it was, way down here, after I met with Richard, a few times on, the slow day, and how I can create action plans and actual, strategies to review like what I'm doing and make sure that I'm still on the right track. My income went from way down here to here to here, and that big gap and doubling and almost tripling my income is worth it to me. And I feel like that would be worth it to anybody that wants some help and some coaching. And I mean, it's the income gap for me is definitely worth clicking yes. I just like to say, again, I want to reiterate that the skills that I've learned from Richard and training with Richard not only help me in the professional career, but they help me in my personal life too.
Guys, I can't thank Zach enough for coming in. As bad as he was feeling to come all the way down and to deal with our lighting, it made him look even sicker. So Zach, when you watch this, thank you so much. Zach was my guinea pig, guys. Zach was the first person that I coached with the fundamentals that I've created the mastermind around. He's the one that got everything thrown at him. So he didn't have the luxury of having everything laid out for him with a path to follow. And I can't thank him enough for sharing his story. And his story didn't happen over a one workshop period. It didn't happen over 2 days. Zach's journey was a year to 2 years, and then even then it went beyond that because Zach continued to work with me after the first year. And that's why this mastermind is a year long. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the mastermind and where it was and what you guys are going to get. Because the first things first, there are only 40 spots available. Those 40 spots are divided into 2 workshop periods, a Wednesday and a Thursday. First come, first serve. Once those are full, this mastermind is closed. We're never going to repeat it. We're not going to open up more days. It is what it is. We'll have other workshops and other masterminds, but this specific one, Organic Selling Mastery, this is going to be a one-time thing, which for the next year. So the reason why we're doing this is because just like Zach's journey was not a workshop long, he didn't have to go what I went through. For 10 years, I struggled with grabbing bits and pieces of information and trying to put them together in my sales process. I even studied actual sales process from Joe Giraldo and Tom Hopkins and Robert Kiyosaki and all the different gurus that were out there. I tried to create the sales process, and what I realized in creating one over 25 years is that everyone's made it too complicated. And when you simplify ideas down to actionable items, things you can do to actually mold yourself, and then when you take one of those advanced ideas and put it inside of your sales process, the results are exponential. And that's what Zach figured out. And he was the guinea pig. He was the first. Now I've created an actual system and process to get you to where he was in even a shorter period of time. We're going to take my 25 years of experience of creating these processes and creating top-tier sales associates and give it to you in a year. So let's actually talk about the mastermind. I've already told you, it's limited, 40 spots, only 40. But what's in that 40 spots? Well, number one, 12 workshops a year. It's going to fall on the last Wednesday and Thursday of the month, except when there's holidays. So we're going to post those dates because we want you to be present with your families. We want you to spend time with your friends and families during those holiday seasons and not have to worry about missing a workshop. So we're going to make sure that any core holidays that are out there, well, we're going to try to honor those to the best of our ability so we don't have those conflicts. So we'll post that calendar as soon as we have it. But that's 12 workshops. Now, the workshops that we normally do at the Simple Salesman are $479 for a 4-hour block. Our full day workshops are minimum of $1,000. Our 2-day workshops are generally $2,000 to $2,500. So we're going to do 12 workshops. So that's basically a value of about $5,748. Now, in addition to workshops, that's only step one. The next thing is giving access to a group, a closed group of Organic Sales Mastery, the Inner Circle. That's normally $250 a year. The reason that's a paid Facebook group is because we want people that are invested in everyone's success, that are going to participate and give actual advice in the group. People that don't pay, they come, they go. You can create a large group, but those people that are paying that premium, they're going to be there. We're going to give you access to that group. In addition, you're going to get a comp plan analysis. One of the things that Zach talked about is we looked at his comp plan to figure out how to make money. He didn't double and triple his sales. He doubled and tripled his income. And the reason he was able to do that was because we looked at his comp plan and figured out what he needed to be selling and how to create strategies to sell that product. So then we're going to move on. In addition to all that, you're going to get one-on-one coaching. The one-on-one coaching is phenomenal. Now, the first one's always goal setting. Zach talked about that multiple times in his interview. We reviewed his goals and where he was at and the things he was doing to achieve them, the actions he was taking to achieve those goals on a monthly basis, right? That's the step one, and that's also what that peer group is there to help you do, is to help you stay on top of your goals. But those 4 one-on-one coaching sessions start with a goal setting session, and then the next 3 are really up to you and what you want to focus on and how you want to move your career. But that's with me, it's not with my team. That is straight with me. In addition to that, you're going to get the Simple Salesman course. That launches in March. We were going to launch it in February, but we're not happy with it, so we're going to launch it in March. That is the entire way of the Simple Salesman, normally selling for $1,479. You will get access to that, to all the lessons to actually hone your sales process, create your sales process, write it down. So for those of you that are salespeople, if you can't write your sales process down, that's a problem. For sales managers and owners, that's an even bigger problem. But we're going to give you that coursework so you can create your sales process to find the pieces in it, the needle movers that are in that process where it will make the biggest impact for you. It's focusing on our strengths and weaknesses, making sure that you use our strengths for what they are and minimizing our weaknesses. You know, everyone out there has a different philosophy, whether we focus on our strengths or focus on our weaknesses. As a manager, I always focused on the bottom of the rung. Why? Because it was the easiest to lift. So that really philosophy, I'll leave up to you. Now, the total value of this, I mean, we're talking about the 12 workshops, the comp plan analysis, the Inner Circle group, which has monthly coachings from me, and in addition to that, the one-on-one, the comp plan, the coursework, you're looking at $12,700-ish in value. Now, only for these 40 people, we're going to do this for $4,978 for the entire year. Now, that's a one-time payment, or we do have payment plans available that you can actually select when you do the application, but this is also by application only. So those people that choose to be part of this 40 are going to save $7,768. That's the savings you get from what our normal a la carte pricing is, and it's coming to only 40 people. So if you want to take your sales career to a new level, if you want to take your management career to a new level, and you want to impact yourself or others, this mastermind is for you. With everything it is, we're going to spend a year together making sure that you move the needle. People spend $4,000 to $6,000 to $20,000 on college to regurgitate information. Now, getting that degree is important, and I'll be the first person to tell you that that degree opens doors, but that information doesn't. My degree was taken away from me. My degree was wiped off the face of the planet, and yet I went from sales associate to VP of 2 separate companies, making over $200,000 a year at one point, and then owning my own business. I didn't have a college degree to get there. In fact, I was studying art history. Art history didn't get me where I'm at today. Self-education did, and taking control of myself, taking control of my own life, and actually going and finding the information. Well, if you're in sales, or you're a business where you have a sales force, I'm going to take 25 years, compress it down into one, and make sure that you get the results you're looking for. So apply now, because it's by application only that you can actually get in this masterclass, mastermind. It is going to be filled, and once it's filled, we are closing the doors. We will not be reopening them unless a spot opens up. So guys, I would love the privilege to serve you. I love the privilege to help you double or triple your income, or just achieve a life that you want to achieve through sales, or through sales development, or through sales management. Whatever it has to do within that realm, I want the pleasure to serve you. And those close-knit 40 group of people, Well, you'll be surprised at how fast you become a family. I have masterminds that I'm in on myself, and those are the people that I go to at Thrice. There's one person that runs that mastermind, but it's the group itself that makes the difference. And the coaching that we get from that mastermind on how to actually achieve our goals has changed my life entirely. And now I want to help you achieve your life. So guys, apply now and give me the privilege to serve you.